glad.
I was panicking. I thought I sent a request. I could see you chatting. I wasn't on. It was a bit scary, but
I did this last week, and I was chatting away to, it was Ashley Walters. I was chatting away to him, having the best convo ever, and nobody could see us or hear us. So can everyone see us?
yeah,
And
give us
a thumbs up.
Give us a thumbs up in the comments below if you can see us and hear us.
Okay, we're on. We're fine.
Okay.
There we go. Thanks so much for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
It's been well, we've sort of been. Oh, you're all good. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So how has lockdown been treating you, Maisie Williams?
Getting a phone call.
Ah.
Sorry, I'm here. I don't know. It's an unknown number. It's not my fault.
Don't answer that, please. For God's sake.
No, I did. I hung up.
Someone's just said happy birthday. That was ages ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little while ago, but thank you.
That was right at the beginning of lockdown, I think. Is your phone going off again?
Yeah, literally, and I don't even know who it is. It's like an unknown number. It's fine. Fine.
So how is lockdown, Maisie? How are you doing?
It's good. It's fine. I'm actually doing okay. I don't really leave the house much anyway, and so I haven't really missed that too much, because when I'm home I like to just be in my home. I guess like it's really affecting the industry a lot, and like the thought of not working properly for like a year, maybe more, I don't even know, that's like a little bit worrying, because like when you don't work for a long time as an actor, like you just don't really know what your purpose is in the world, because you're an unemployed actor like so many people. So yeah, I think that like I'm trying to like be busy doing other things, which has been really nice, but yeah, I'm not finding it too bad at all.
Yeah, it's been funny because like, well, I've definitely started to learn more about what I actually enjoy doing outside of work, which I don't think I've ever really known before. So
yeah. I'm amazed at how many video games I'm playing, because I never really thought that I was like into that, but turns out I like really am. So
yeah, same here actually. The only game that I can play is called Zuma. Have you ever played Zuma?
No.
It's absolute crap. It's just basically the colours. You have to match up the colours.
Oh, nice.
Right. It's really
like
basic.
A Candy Crush vibe. Like
yeah, exactly.
Nice. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad we're keeping busy anyway and being really productive.
Well, yeah.
So when we all first went into lockdown, you were doing press for New Mutants, weren't you? Were you in New York?
Yeah. So I got to New York, and we were supposed to just do like a big press junket with like press from all around the world, and it was all just starting to like ramp up, you know. And then I was just worried that I wasn't going to be able to get back, because like the borders were starting to close and things like that. And then we were sort of questioning, like, is this even a good idea anyway, to be with like all of these press from around the world, and everyone's going to come to this one room and do this thing and then leave again? And we were like, because now I feel like we've all adjusted quite a lot, but then like I was still like shaking people's hands and like all of this stuff, because I just like didn't really know what I should be doing. And so yeah, I'm like glad that we all went home and like we didn't end up doing it, but yeah, it was like just starting to ramp up, which is really exciting, because I was really looking forward to just to like all of the fun stuff with promoting it.
So when was it meant to come out then? Was it meant to come out in April?
Yeah, so it was supposed to come out April 6th or something like that. But it's been like delayed a couple of times, and it's like a bit of a joke now, because like it was supposed to come out in like, I don't even know, like 2017 maybe, and then it got delayed and delayed again, and so it was finally coming out in 2020, and then this like global pandemic broke out, and so it didn't come out. But yeah, I think now they have the date for like the 23rd of August, 26th of August, I don't know what I said.
I think it was 28th, you said.
28th.
Yeah.
Close.
I only know that because it's my dad's birthday, and now we'll go see New Mutants. So is it going to come out in the cinema then? Is that like the plan at the minute?
Yeah, it said that it's going to be like in theatres then. So maybe they know something that we don't. Yeah.
Cool. So, okay, so if it was meant to come out in 2017, when did you actually shoot it?
I think maybe that year, beginning of that year. Oh no, maybe I shot it the year before, 2016.
Oh my God.
A while ago, a little while ago.
You look quite young in it, like compared to how you are now.
Well, it's also because I have the short wig, and like the short wig definitely makes me have like a little baby face. So, but yeah, also it was like a while ago, so we all do look a little bit different now.
Yeah, definitely. So tell everyone who hasn't seen the trailer, tell everyone what it's about and what your character is.
So it's like based within the XMen universe. Does that sound really annoying? Can you hear that or not? No. Okay, so it's like there's someone with like a masonry drill outside. It's like perfect timing.
You're fine.
No, yeah. So it's about it's like set within the XMen universe, but it's about these 5 like teenage mutants, Ninja Turtles. No, they're not Ninja Turtles. And they are in this like correctional facility to try and basically harness their powers and like understand how to use them and just like protect them from the public and then also from themselves. And I play a character called Rain Sinclair, and she's also known as Wolfsbane. And she went through a lot of trauma when she like realized about her power. And she was like raised like as a Catholic, and like struggles with a lot of guilt, and like her pastor thought that she was a witch and like didn't understand her powers and like really punished her for it. And so she just like carries a lot of that with her and has always been like very shy and like hasn't really got to know anyone in the facility. But when we open, this character called Danny Moonstar, she is like joining the facility for like the first time, and because like both of them feel like outcasts, they get to know each other very quickly, and they like look out for each other and protect one another. So it's like this big superhero film about like, you know, all these 6 superpowers, but it's also just this really beautiful love story between these 2 characters also. So it's like got a bit in there for everyone, really.
It looks like loads of fun, and like, to be honest with you, it's like the perfect thing. If it is one of the first films that we've got in the cinema when we go back, I just don't want to watch anything filmed on Zoom. That's what I do.
No. Yeah, I think that it's like, yeah, it's like going to be like a real escape for everyone.
Yeah.
And it's like a real family movie. Like everyone's going to really love it. It's like appeals to a lot of people, and it's like real feel good, but you know, it's like superhero at the same time. So I think it's going to go down a treat.
Okay, love it. So as I mentioned to you before, so most of our audience are actors and filmmakers. And loads of Maisie fans, because all I say, I love Maisie, I love Maisie, I love Maisie at the bottom.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's very bizarre.
So I would really love to go back to the beginning, because as everyone knows, you were so young when you started in the industry.
Yeah.
So how did it all come about? Because you were with Louise Johnson. Yeah. Where did it start for you?
Yeah, so I always wanted to perform when I was a kid, and I joined like a local dance school called Susan Hill School of Dancing in Bradstock, if anyone from the Southwest is watching. And I went there, and like I used to just sort of dance with them all the time. And then there was this flyer that was put up on the notice board about this talent show where you could go and basically meet loads of VIPs that were going to change your life. And so I was about 10 at the time, and I was really excited. So I decided to like go and do it. And it took place in Disneyland Paris. And so there was like hundreds and hundreds of kids there. Actually, I think there was some grown-ups as well, but it was like really tailored towards like children. And because I didn't really have anything to lose, and because, you know, when you're a kid, you're just so fearless. Instead of just doing dancing, which is like ultimately what my dream was at the time, I think, I also did acting and singing and modeling and all of these other things. Just because, I don't know, my mom just had a really great attitude like that. There was no pressure, but it was also just like really fun to do all of those things. So she just like pushed me to do, yeah, the whole shebang, really. And I'm glad that she did, because while I was doing like the acting part of the talent show, there was this woman called Louise Johnston, and she had just set up like an agency, and she asked if I wanted to be part of it, and if I, you know, wanted to be like an actor and do auditions with her. And I didn't really understand what it was, Also through the talent show, I ended up getting an audition for Nanny McPhee. So I knew that I had this audition anyway. But like every kid there like had it, and I didn't really know what I was doing. Like I'd never done anything like it, but she like practiced all of my lines with me and like taught me so much, because she'd also been a drama lecturer before she started the agency, so she really brought it out of me. And I didn't end up getting the Nanny McPhee audition, but we started working together, and then she ended up, the second audition that I got was through her, and she ended up getting me on an audition for Game of Thrones, and then
oh my god,
and everything changed really.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so we for the Game of Thrones audition then, did you feel prepared going in, like did you feel prepared going into that because of Nanny McPhee, or were you still a little bit like?
Yeah, I knew what to expect now, because with Nanny McPhee, I actually got to like a screen test. So I did like the proper thing in front of like real camera with like all of these other kid actors. So like I'd really gone quite far in the process. So I kind of knew what to expect. But I guess, I don't know really, like what I had noticed is like a lot of the young kids were just like really well put together, and like I don't know, as a kid I never really felt like that. I always felt like I was losing something or missing something or forgot my water bottle or my script or something like that. And so that stressed me out a bit. But what I realized when I got the part in Game of Thrones was like all of those things about me that were like different was like what made me right for that role. And like even I remember on my audition day I had like a hole in my leggings, and I was like trying to cover it with my hand while I was doing my scene. And like Aria is just known for like being scruffy, and especially when she was a kid, like it would always like cause her mother shame, and like she'd always be so like mad at her if she was late or like playing in the mud or all this stuff. And so I don't know, I guess like I learned very early on that like the strange things about you are what make you like unique and what make you like perfect for something.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the work, not the work, well, the thing that I really like to instill in people when they come into a casting, like you need to be yourself, because if you're trying to be something that you think that you should be in an audition setting, you know, even outside of just showing your personality, chances are there's going to be other people who are nervous and they're pretending to be some sort of way they think they should act as well. And if everyone's doing that, everyone's the same, and then we can't like decipher what is special about you.
Yeah, and you get such a short amount of time with people that you have to just see that right then, because like you can't, as a casting director, like you can't take that time with every single person that you meet to like make sure that you can like, I don't know, just like break down all of those barriers, you know. You have to be able to see that so quickly. And like I think that's why it's really interesting with children, because like they are just so like honest, you know. But yeah, I guess like when you get older, like because even now I'm trying to unlearn so much, because like I was so naive, and that was like the best thing that I could have been. And like now I'm trying to second guess myself all the time and like tripping myself up, which is like the worst way to be. So it's like it is just something that you end up like learning, I think, like as you get older and you like try and play things safer and safer. But yeah, to just like embrace yourself and take risks is like ultimately gonna like do like better things for you, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Do you feel like starting out so young has helped you now in the way that you see any sort of situations where you do have to sell yourself, or if you have to read for a role, do you feel like that's helped you?
I think it's really helped me like on set. Now I know what I'm doing. Yeah. But in terms of auditions and stuff, not really. I still feel like a duck out of water, to be honest with you. Wait, no, ducks are fine. Fish out of water.
Ducks will be fine, whatever they do then.
Yeah. So, do you know why I've just said that? It's because that's a line in the show and they joke about it because I love just said it. Anyway.
You're selling it.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It's really hard. Do you know what? Self-tapes are something that like just never get any easier, I don't think. And it's just like, you just never know what someone wants. And again, like you've just said, like trying to guess what someone wants and be that person is like the wrong thing to do. But then if you're not doing that, it's like hard to know what you should do. And so I guess like a piece of advice, well, a lot of my actor friends who I give this piece of advice to don't listen to me. So if you don't want to listen to this, I won't be offended. But I always think that you should just take a really strange risk and like use a really stupid prop, or like just like do something with a crazy background, or like as long as it goes with whatever you're doing. Because I just think that people watch so many tapes that like there needs to be something that like that just stands out about you.
I couldn't agree more. Like, make a strong choice and like commit to it as well, because sometimes you see strong choices, but if there's like a little bit less confidence than there should be, then it doesn't play out as well. You have to be really confident in what you're actually playing.
Yeah, honestly, I think that is it. Like having the belief within yourself, like no matter what you want to do, whether you want to do like you want to be in film or like anything in life, like doing something and like being like with conviction and like just being sure of yourself is like the key to everything.
Yeah. And yet we'll say this all the time, and yet I'll come off this and I'll be like, oh, was I good enough? Like, was I okay? Did I say anything weird? So like we preach, but like we need to practice what we preach. But it is great tips.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's the key, but it doesn't mean that I've really found it yet.
No, exactly. I've got the key, but I don't know how to use it. So
yeah, literally.
Okay, so let's talk about being on set and how you work on set. So obviously Game of Thrones, like there is so much going on in some of those scenes.
Yeah,
you've got pyrotechnics, you've got hundreds of extras, you've got this massive ensemble cast, and yet you've got to stay like grounded and centered in what you're doing. How do you do that? Like, do you have any tips around that?
I pace all the time when I'm nervous about anything. Like I'll pace, and like quite often when they're setting up, they'll want you to stand like in your spot. But when there's all of that going on, it can just be like really distracting. And so like from a young age, like I've always just like stuck my fingers in my ears and like looked at the floor and like just repeated stuff to myself, whether it's like my lines or whether it's, I don't know, just like anything about the scene, especially when things are really emotional. I think like as a kid, I used to really convince myself that these awful things were happening around me. And so, yeah, I just like repeat things over and over and over in my head and just be so zoned out from anything that was happening. I guess it's like meditation, to be honest with you, although I wouldn't have used that name for it then, but it's just like focusing so intensely on like the character or like a message for the scene or like something that you need to say that you like, even if it's like a line you keep forgetting or something that like is tripping you from like doing a great job. But yeah, just like really zoning out. I think it's just like, yeah, you've got to be able to do all of those things that you can do like in like a drama room or like in like a self-tape, but like with all of this stuff going on. And I don't know, I think I've found peace in it almost. Like what now when there's like a lot going on, it's like it adds to the tension of like what we're about to do, you know. And like you've got a million takes, but I love to be able to do something in the first take because then I know that I can do it and I feel confident to do it again and again and again.
Yeah.
So it's like the build and you can feel it and like people are looking at you and they're like, oh, she's about to do that bit, or, you know. And I just think that now all of the mayhem really sort of like plays into it and I can use it. But yeah, at the beginning I'd have to literally just like have my fingers in my ears and just like repeat things over and over again and like look at my feet.
Yeah. You're for you know, you started out so young and you've had this like, well, Game of Thrones is just obviously the biggest show in the world. And you are who you are in it. It's just insane. But how have you got any tips for like young people who are entering the industry, but also parents, like how to keep them like away from it, some certain aspects of it, like you were saying about the you were trying to think of yourself like bad things had actually happened to you and things like that. Like that's quite traumatic.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you know, when I in like season 1, I couldn't cry unless my mum cried. So I would go over to her and be like, Mum, I need to cry in the scene. And she'd start talking about all of the awful things that have happened in her life. And she'd be like, and we'd just talk about stuff together. Because like, I mean, every family's been through some stuff. And I don't know, me and my mum have always just had a connection over those things. And so we'd literally just sit and talk about awful things and cry. And then I'd go on set and my mum would be offset, like by the monitors, still crying. And I'd go on and do the scene.
Go, bye, Mum, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, no, sorry, bye, Mum, thank you. Be quiet.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's the answer, because I don't know if that was good for either of us. But I think, I don't know, like, I think like if your kid is going to be an actor, like they ultimately must be very emotionally mature in order to like want to do something like that and like really be like great at it. They must, I don't know, they just must. And I think just like understanding that about your child and like engaging with that and like nurturing it and like, you know, allowing them to feel those like really grown-up emotions and like feel validated for feeling those things, rather than like just being, you know, too authoritative and like, you know, wanting to squash it, because ultimately that's like that they need to understand those things about themselves in order to like portray anything on screen. And I don't know, like I think I always really struggled to talk with children, but I remember when I was a child, I hated when people didn't know how to speak with me, because I just wanted them to speak to me like a grown-up. And it's so frustrating that I have been like that to other kids instead of just like speaking to them like a grown-up, like you know, nurturing, because they see everything. And like I remember when I was a kid, I just felt so grown up. Like I felt like I knew everything about the world, you know. And I guess because my mum always allowed me to think like that and feel like that, I could then be like a really great actor, because like I felt like my emotions were real and valid and like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's amazing. It sounds like your mum was really supportive in the right ways for a young actor.
Definitely. Like I'm so grateful to have like the upbringing that I did with her, and to have someone like that who is like really supportive, because I know it's not like that for everyone, and like it can be really difficult when it's not. And don't get me wrong, I know incredible actors who started at a very young age who didn't have parents like that, who are still doing incredible things now. So my way isn't the only way. But if you are a parent watching this, like that's just like the greatest thing you could be for them, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention, in that just popped into my head, what we've both actually watched recently is Honey Boy. For that,
yes,
like, father and son relationship. If anyone hasn't seen it, it's so good.
That film, yeah, it's really, really beautiful. And like I think that brought up like a lot of memories from like being a child on set. And it wasn't like that for everyone, and like, you know, but I think that it's an incredible film, and it's like very, very insightful.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I wanted to speak a little bit about The Fallen, because I love The Fallen, Carol Morley film.
Yes.
So how does something like that, because I know that you worked very differently on The Fallen than you did on Game of Thrones. So
yeah.
If anyone hasn't seen it, The Fallen is a indie feature film. Carol Morley directed it. It's about these schoolgirls who, it's very dark. They all start to, what's the actual phrase for it?
I think it's called like mass hysteria, but at the time they just like have these fainting fits, and like they all are, it's like very real to them, but it can be perceived as like just many things. It was set in the 60s, and so there's these like promiscuous girls that are getting into trouble and fainting and having these like mass fainting epidemics, and it was an era where that sort of thing wasn't really valid or listened to, and so it's these girls and their connections with each other and like the school, and this all girls school. Yeah,
it's such an amazing film. And that you and Florence, it's Florence Pugh's, did you say it was her first film?
It was her first film, yeah.
So you two together are so good, but the way that you work with all of the girls, and there's some other names in there as well that have gone on to do amazing things, but it's such a great film. So I just wanted to give that a shout out because I think people should see it.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's such an incredible film. I love being a part of it, and it was just like a completely new way of working. Like, it was very method almost. Like, we all of the girls, the main friendship group was about 7 or 8 girls. We all lived together throughout the entirety of the shoot in one house with like an au pair who cooked us dinner, and we just hung out 24/7. We watched movies together every evening, and we like learnt our lines together, and then we went to had our dinner, and then we went to bed, and then we got up and we got in the van together and went to, so it was like we were at school together, you know, and we just like really bonded over those few weeks. It was like, yeah, it was just a very intense experience. And Lydia, the character that I played, she was like very segregated from her mother, and you know, throughout our time like shooting, like the relationship like that we held on set was like very just like distant, you know. But yeah, it was amazing.
Was that Carol Morley's, was that she did that on purpose? She like split you up and she put you all the kids together and made sure that you were in this environment.
She just wanted it to be as real as possible. And I'd never done anything like that before, and it was like amazing. And the film like turned, I don't know, it wasn't the most pleasant experience, but because of that, the film was like the best it could be, you know. And so I understand like why it had to be that way. And I don't know, I feel like if I were to make a film, like I'd want that atmosphere to be quite similar, especially if like your lead character is like very segregated, or like, you know. So yeah, it was just like, interesting, and like, you know, very, very different to Game of Thrones, and like I just learned so much.
I love that. I love putting the actors in that situation to make anything which makes anything more realistic in my eyes is like the best. So yeah, I really love the film, so I just wanted to shout it out. Something else I'm really looking forward to is 2 Weeks to Live with Sian Clifford.
Yeah,
it looks so good, but I've only seen that one. I think it's like a 1.5-minute trailer, but it looks so good. So when's that out?
So that will be coming out, I think sometime around like October, November, maybe towards the end of the year. I think they're still figuring out all of the scheduling and stuff like that. But yeah, it was so much fun. We shot it in like 6 weeks, which was like insane. I never thought that we were going to get like a whole series done in 6 weeks, but we did.
How many episodes is it?
6 episodes.
Oh, wow.
And they're like half an hour long each. So they're, I don't know, I've been watching content like that that's like, you know, like a 6 to 8 episodes, 30 minutes each, 20 minutes each, and like I've just been loving the way that you can like build momentum with something like that. So I'm really excited to be part of a show that sort of works in that format. But yeah, it's like a dark comedy. I play a character called Kim, and Sian plays my mum, Tina, and we have basically like lived in the middle of nowhere for the majority of Kim's life, and the show opens with Kim like leaving home and like going off on an adventure into the real world to try and like live a normal life. And Tina has like become quite overprotective over the years and decides to like go after her. And they sort of like live like in a cabin in the woods in the middle of Scotland, and they're both quite savvy with like hunting and fighting and gathering and things like that. And so the two of them, like, you know, chasing after each other in the real world is like quite a funny backdrop for the two of them. But yeah, and they meet a bunch of people along the way and get into a bunch of trouble, and yeah, it's just great fun, really, really great fun.
It looks so good, it really does, and I really love Sian Clifford. But your character just looks like so much fun in it as well. You look very what's the word? I don't know, it's how I imagine like how you actually are, like the closest thing that I've seen to how you actually are.
Yeah, no, I guess so. I think I was just really keen after the show to go into something which just was very different, and I think there are a lot of similarities between Kim and Aria, but I think like tonally the show was just like a great laugh to be on set every single day, and it's like set in present day, so you know, the clothes and everything like that, it's like all very colorful in comparison to Game of Thrones. And so yeah, I was just, I guess for me, I was allowed to be most like myself because I don't know, I just think like, you know, on a comedy set like that, it's just like, yeah, you just like want to embrace every part of like humanity that you know, really. Yeah.
I'm excited for that. So I know you've also been doing a bit of producing, because that's how I know you.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell us a bit about that. Are you like, what's your plans with all of that malarkey? Are you planning on doing more?
Yeah, so I set up a production company called Pint Size Pictures, and my aim was basically just to tell stories of young women and work with incredible women, and yeah, just like have a go at making my own films, really. Like, I feel like I've worked on a lot of different sets, and like there's so much about like, you know, filmmaking that fascinates me, and I just wanted like a vessel to be able to do that, really. And so I've been working on this film with Lowry Roberts, who you know, and we've been doing a short film, which we were supposed to shoot right at the beginning of lockdown, but because we were locked down, we couldn't end up doing it. So we're going to be pushing that to either the end of the year or like the beginning of next year. But that's like, it's been like a really great learning opportunity for me, because like I've never, although I've worked on a lot of things, like I've never actually made anything before. And so producing like something short for now has been mega exciting, and I've just like learned so much, and especially because like our leading character is a child, and so like there's just so many precautions that you have to take when you're working with children, and I just wanted that to be like a really pleasant experience for them. But even during lockdown, like we've been writing so much together, and just like coming up with like new and exciting ideas. And honestly, we're just never short of ideas, and I don't know how anyone ever struggles to come up with ideas, but it's just like implementing them that we're locked down right now, so it's hard to do anything. But you know, when we're going to bounce back so hard, you have
oh my god, so hard. It's coming.
Yeah.
It's so good. But you know, your experience and your taste is amazing. So the whole process, because it is kids, to have that perspective from an actor who's really been there in the biggest way you can possibly imagine, is literally priceless. So is that the phrase?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I don't know, we'll call it that.
It's been amazing, so it's been great. Right, we've got to wrap it. I'm really sorry, but
no, it's all good.
I wanted to ask you if you've got anything you've been listening to, anything you've been reading that you wanted to shout out.
Yeah, so with everything that's going on in the world right now, particularly with like Black Lives Matter and like the whole criminal justice system in America, I've just been like trying to learn as much as I can, and basically stop trying to like pass it off as someone else's problem, because I've always like felt like, you know, I'm a perfect citizen and I'm fine, and I just wanted to dig into that a little more. And so I've been listening to this really great podcast, which I actually saw on Florence Pugh's Instagram first. I got the recommendation from her. It's called Seeing White, and it's by Scene on Radio, and it's just like a really in-depth look at how we got to this situation and why white people have thought and think that it's okay to like be the dominant race among like over like every other race. And like I guess it's like something that you don't really talk about white people as like white people are always seen as like the top, and then there's like all these other races, and like it basically puts white people in that box of like being a race and being like, this is what you are known for, and this is your stereotype, and this is like how you have acted over like millions of years. So that's been like really, really interesting, and it's just I mean, it's just like taught me so much. And then amongst that, there's this book that I've been reading called White Fragility, and that is basically, it's called White Fragility, why white people find it so hard to talk about race, or something like that. And it's basically about all of those times when you feel attacked and you feel like being like, oh, it's not me, I'm not like that, not all white people, like, and it's just basically like debunking the whole thing and being yeah, just like you have to take responsibility for the way that your people have acted. And so yeah, that's been like very
and also know about it. Like there's no education, so you know you really do have to seek out this information. So I asked you that question because I know you've been sharing some really amazing resources, and I think that we've got a platform here, and this is really important to Backstage as well.
Okay, you know?
So we need to be mentioning it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I post a lot on my Instagram. I mean, I'm by no means, and I don't think anyone with a platform is trying to say that they are like, they know better than everyone else. But I think that, you know, when you have a platform, it's important to like try and give people the resources so as they can teach themselves as well as teaching yourself too.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. And I just want to end it because I think you've got amazing taste, but only because you like all the same films as me. So I must say I've got amazing taste. So what films have you been watching lately?
You know, I actually watched Dogtooth recently, which is Yorgos Lanthimos.
Oh yeah.
Lanthimos's like first film. Because I'd watched every other one and I hadn't watched like the first one. And Blue Hunt, who plays Danny Moonstar in New Mutants, she actually recommended it to me and it was incredible. So I don't know if anyone, if you haven't seen that, it's like incredible. And it's
I haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, it's really, really great. I also watched a couple of years ago, I actually recommended this to you the other day, it's called Raw.
I still need to see it.
Yeah, it's like a French like zombie, no wait, it's French cannibal like movie.
I mean that's niche, but that's my perfect genre you've just
And it's really, really incredible. I love it so much. I watched it a couple of years ago, but I definitely like watch it again. I like films that I could watch a second time.
Yes,
for sure. And then Alex Ross Perry, he did this amazing film called Her Smell in 2018, which is which is like incredible. I think a lot of films that I like are like quite dark and like very, I mean, kind of like The Falling. It's like, yeah, it's just like a lot, it's just like very highly strung, incredible women who are feeling a lot of things.
Yeah, that's what we are. So.
Literally just like films about girls like me.
Okay, amazing. So that was Dogtooth, Raw, Her Smell, and the podcast you recommended was Seeing White.
Seeing White by Seen on Radio, and then the book is White Fragility, Why White People Find It So Hard to Talk About Race.
Love it. Thank you so much for doing this.
I loved it.
I really like seeing you anyway, but you know, there's people watching this time, so it's even better.
Yeah, for everyone else as much as it is for us.
Yeah, exactly. All right, thank you so much, guys, for watching, and keep an eye on our on the social media that you're on right now, because we've got loads more stuff coming up. And yeah, thanks from me, thanks from Backstage, thanks from Maisie, I think.